Welcome to MSP Voice, the weekly show for MSPs by MSPs. Brought to you by Cloudberry, the #1 cross-platform cloud backup. Learn more at cloudberrylab.com. This is MSP Voice. Hello and welcome to MSP Voice. This is episode number 51. Today's guest is Corey Kirkendoll, a great guest out of the North Dallas, Plano area. Talks about his work with professional services, engineering, architecture, as well as some nonprofit. Corey has a great background. He came from some of the big technology companies and decided to go ahead and branch out on his own and open an MSP. So listen for that at the end. First up, some housekeeping items. Of course, mspvoice.com is your source for all things MSP Voice. One thing I did want to point out this week is we have a new series by one of our past guests. So Anton Kiorglo, he's with Security First IT. He was a guest of the show back on episode 39. And Anton is writing up a series of posts about HIPAA. So the first in this series is how I decided to do HIPAA in my MSP. So it's a great article. Definitely take a read. And again, this is the first in a multi-part series. So expect some new content from Anton over the next couple of weeks as we progress forward. So definitely check that out. Again, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and of course, subscribe to us on YouTube, all those different areas. Definitely check us out there. Also on the blog this week, we'll have an update on our survey that we did for MSP Voice, as well as contacting the winners who won the $100 Amazon gift card. So be on the lookout for that if you filled out the survey. All right, so let's talk about some news. First up is Nexus Tech unveils a nationwide unified managed IT services for SMBs. They've gone out and acquired multiple MSPs, and now they are coast to coast in the United States. And they've rolled out 4 plans. So there's essential, remote, dedicated, and complete. So they're, again, it's another national, MSP. So something that you might need to be on the lookout for from a competitive standpoint. I have no idea how good they are, how bad they are. I don't know. I'm making no assumptions on that. But just know that there are some areas that maybe see increased competition from some of these nationwide MSPs. Next up is a kind of an interesting story. I've talked about this in the past whenever there's an acquisition or funding or something like that. But Channel E2E here, they're pointing out the MSP MSSP cybersecurity chess match. So it's between Insight Partners and Tama. And if I know I've discussed these two before. They're two of the biggest investors in the MSP technology space. If you look at their portfolios, you'll see that they control or have invested in a lot of technology that you currently own. So this article points out the Insight Partners has invested in SentinelOne, which I know a lot of you out there use. But what about between Insight and Tama, and looking at what they control, right? Insight has Kaseya, as well as a huge list of other cybersecurity companies. Tama, of course, has ConnectWise, Barracuda, Continuum, SolarWinds, and SentinelOne works with all of those platforms, or some of the major platforms. Will that continue going forward, or will they put more of a focus on Kaseya now that they've been invested by Insight? This article is really just kind of conjecture. It doesn't draw any conclusions because there aren't any conclusions to draw yet, but just something to be on the lookout for. Understand that the software you use has people behind it who have invested in it, and it's just pointing out that hopefully they continue on the same track that they've been doing, but sometimes money talks and things will be changing. So something to look out for. Next up is an interesting article. It's really lengthy. I'm not going to try to summarize the entire thing. I think that the headline speaks for itself, why the CIA trusts AWS security and why you should consider it too. It talks about the fact in 2013, the CIA signed a huge 10-year deal with Amazon Web Services for their cloud services. Of course, we know the CIA. intelligence organization here in the United States. So, they're all about security. So this article really kind of explores, what are some of the cloud security fundamentals, and it goes down through, why did the CIA make this choice and this decision? What are the building blocks from AWS security? So, if you're using AWS, Amazon S3, any of those types of things, or if you're considering it, it's just an interesting perspective to take a look at to understand, why some of these large organizations do trust Amazon with their data, with their compute, and all those different types of things. And finally, we've got something humorous, I guess we'll call it. So this is from Reddit, but this poster said, connected to my client's laptop and her sex tape was playing, connected to another client's laptop and he was watching porn. So I'm sure this has happened to all of you out there with, all this remote control software. You say, hey, I'm going to log in and do something on your system at this date and time. They agree to it. You log in and there's something on the screen that you weren't expecting to see. So it happens to everybody. As long as it's not illegal, hey, everyone, has their own thing. But during business hours and professionalism being what it is, it can be a little bit embarrassing. So now, it being Reddit, of course, there are a number of replies with people talking about what they've done and what they've seen and all this other type of stuff, pointing out the fact that, hey, before you just connect, even if you have set up an appointment, before you connect to someone else's computer, just send them a message. Do a dialogue real quick, whether it's text or if the screen control software allows you to do messaging before connecting. Try that out before you connect. So just as a gentle reminder to that person that, hey, someone's going to be logging into your computer. Some may not care. Others will say, oh, give me 5 minutes, and they need to close some stuff out before you log in. So that's up with that. Again, episode 51 with Corey Kirkendoll. Great episode, great interview, and I will talk to you all next week. Thank you. Hello and welcome. Today I am pleased to be joined by Corey Kirkendoll with 5K Technical Services, and you're out of the North Dallas, Plano area. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Great, Corey.
Correct. Good to be here today, Doug.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what 5K does?
Sure, yes. 5K is a full-service managed service firm here in the North Dallas area. We specialize in engineering architectural firms and we dabble a little bit in the nonprofit area. We believe that those customers have been really key to us and be able to provide them a level of IT support that really hits them up and they haven't been able to receive from anybody else.
Yeah, and it's a good way to give back to the community as well.
Oh, no doubt, definitely.
Yeah. So I've talked to several MSPs that that's whether some it's their sole focus is to focus on nonprofit, and others it's, hey, we like to you pick the causes that mean something to you, you help support them, and it's goodwill all around.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's one of the reasons why we chose the nonprofits is exactly that. Is that they always need help on the IT side, and unfortunately sometimes it's a little bit different challenging for those guys. So to be able to come and offer them services has been just truly a blessing for us out here. Great.
So what made you get into this crazy world of managed services?
Just a bad day at work, man. Just no, for me, it was one of those things where, I worked for big companies a while, the Cisco's, the Dell, the MCs, and all those guys. I always had that bug on the entrepreneurial side and said, hey, I want to go out there and provide some of this enterprise level support that I've been given out to the small, medium businesses where they really need that to be able to reach into some of those things.
Yeah.
So came home one day, told my wife, look, we're going to start our own business and we're going to manage service. And she looked at me and said, what? And the rest is history. So it's been an interesting ride. We have our good and bad, but we've seen the market and the whole MSP industry just change and evolve a lot. So we're sure we got more changes to come, but it's been fun.
Yeah, I was looking at your LinkedIn, and there's a possible chance we may have crossed paths at some point in the past, just because of who I worked for and who you worked for. So
yeah.
But that's one of the things I love too, especially when I'm talking to you guys MSPs for this, and as I'm talking to our customers, the fact that you're out there supporting the small businesses, that's that's the aspect that I really like, because being in enterprise software sales for so long, it's nice to not be in enterprise software sales.
No, I get it.
So it's yeah, I definitely know where you're coming from. So I don't need to ask if you had an IT career first, because you already said that you did. And I mean, I guess from that career though, were you pretty technical? Were you on the engineering side or sales, marketing side? Where did you come from there?
Yeah, so I started out on the technical side, went
Mm-hmm.
through and was really technical, hands-on. And then I came to a point in my career where I had to say, all right, was I going to stay technical and go towards the distinguished engineers track or go into management? So I chose the
Mm-hmm.
management track. And
Okay.
on the back end of my career in the larger companies, I was more on the director, those type of side.
Okay.
Which gave me a good balance, right? So I have a good hands-on understanding the technical and getting the weeds when I want to,
Mm-hmm.
but then I also know how to just manage it and just come at it from a business level, which has been really good. Sometimes we find that issue of getting too technical and in the woods too fast, and you lose
Yep.
the customer. But then, really understand and show them the value, because we manage big budgets, we understand costs, we understand return on investment, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it a little bit easier to go out there and sell, because you can speak the customer's language.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, I've had some experience in that arena as well, and and I know a lot of MSPs that I talk to, they jumped right into this out of high school sometimes, right? And so
Yeah.
they don't always have that background that really helps in the business side, especially sales and marketing.
No doubt.
I know that's where a lot of MSPs are looking for some help.
That is always the case. Always the case.
So when you started out, did you start out doing break fix, or did you just jump right into doing the managed?
That was one of the things I made a conscious effort not to jump into the break fix area. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't see anything about it that would make. I thought it was going to make my life miserable. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go after and charge after the managed services side and stick there. We also made a conscious decision that we were not going to do anything residential, no B2C,
Mm-hmm.
no consumers, right? So all B2B, right? So I think, the only reason I'm still in it is because I made that decision for break fix and not
Mm-hmm.
to deal with consumers. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. And then you mentioned you specialize mostly in like architectural firms, professional services type organizations.
Yep.
Do they have any like specific unique needs, or is it?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why we chose the architectural firm is because when they rely on their computer systems 100%.
Yeah.
So when they need up, they call it screen times, right? As long as they're up, they're working on a drawing, they're working on their billing and getting and being able to service the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So they always got the biggest, best machines out there. So we spend a lot of time on hardware. They understand what that means. A lot of graphic cards. And then we work with our partners like, SolidWorks as well as AutoCAD and those guys to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that they're getting what they need to get done. So between moving large data files, using powerful machines, and understanding the value of technology and staying above in front of it, that's the ideal customer for us. That I don't have to do much preaching. It just kind of says, hey, let me set the roadmap, and we just continue down that path.
Yeah, and I would imagine, especially architectural firms, they, like you said, they understand the importance of technology, because that's their jobs depend on it.
Exactly.
And everything's moved digital, so they're probably not afraid to spend a little bit on technology once in a while.
No, not at all. Not at all. And what's also key is, when we bring them in, one of the things that we've learned with those guys is we actually taught them how to leverage their technology as a selling point. It's all part of their marketing out there as well. So when they go up against large bids and other things, they can brag about how they're taking care of their technology, how they're securing their technology, and how they stay in front of it. So that's what's been really cool for them. So it's a win-win for both.
Okay. Now, in terms of attracting new customers, do you guys advertise, or you just rely on referrals? That's the marketing part, right?
Yeah, a lot of referrals, but we do spend a lot of time, now this year I got more into social media, getting out there and LinkedIn and Facebook posts, getting my blog, continue to do those type of things. We do some road shows, so we go where they are. So we're at the architectural conventions, we're at their shows, we're out there doing things. We do some lunch and learns as well, so where we bring them in and say, here's what we're doing, here's how you do it, and here's how we continue to make it better. And then we do a lot of JV partners. So those who are in, so we're out there with the SolidWorks, we're out there with the Dells, the Lenovos, all those guys who have been certified to be in that area, that's certified with those products. We spend a lot of time together going out there, because we're their channel, right? So we're
Yep.
there in front of them, so they need us to go out there. They don't want to deal with the end customer, so they leave that to us, and we don't mind that. So that's been good.
Yeah, and they probably help you with on marketing spend in some areas as well, I'm guessing.
Exactly. So learn how to tap into those MDF funds,
Yep.
which has been really good. So when they come in, we go to the nice steakhouses or nice places, and they bring all the swag, and we have a good time and really show them a good time out there.
Yeah, and I've just been brought up multiple times on the podcast, and because coming from a vendor, take advantage of those marketing development funds, MDF, because your vendors, they're successful if you're successful, so they're gonna help you make business, build business as well. So, and you obviously know that coming from the world you came from. So
yes, I live by that motto, man. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
And so, coming up with a unique thing and really have a good plan makes it really simple to get those funds and makes it beneficial that we can follow up, have a true plan, and it just works well. So we both benefit in the end.
Yeah, cool. So thinking about services, and like you jumped from kind of the corporate world into your own business and doing it. And how long ago was that?
So back 2006.
Okay, so knowing what you know now, if someone else is looking to make the jump, what kind of advice do you have for someone just getting started?
Yeah, when I started, man, it was different. We didn't have all the tools and things that are out there today, man. We had to do a lot of stuff manual, a lot of scripting, a lot of hard work, and a lot of things, right? Today, when they got so many tools out there that an MSP can come out and look this big, in a matter of seconds, right? One guy can look like he's 4,000 people, but what I would say is pick the right tools, pick the right platform, and know what your product base is going to look like and your offering is going to look like. And it always starts with the tools, man. Pick your right PSA, pick your right RMM, pick everything that does, and make sure you got tight integrations between those. One of the things we do is, we're a ConnectWise shop, so everything revolves around ConnectWise.
Yeah.
No integration. I don't care how sexy you are, how good it is, how sweet it is. If it doesn't integrate into ConnectWise, you don't even get a shot with us. Not even worth our time. And that's just the way it is. Because I can't, I can't have my guys doing swivel chair all the time. It just doesn't work. Things will fall through the cracks. And then looking at your product stack, making sure that and there's some base stuff that is just table stakes. Don't come out there and be like, hey, we got antivirus, and be like, yeah, so everybody got it. You gotta raise above that, right? And really understand how that looks. Because a lot of stuff, that was, I remember back in 2006, we were bragging because we had antivirus and backup and spam and all that good stuff. And now that's minimum. That's in the base. Right?
Yeah, you need an automated monitored 24-hour threat protection now, or so. It's not viruses, it's malware, and all those things.
You got to come up with some new words. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
So it's been 13 years now that you've been doing this. And you came from a different world. Yeah. What do you love about being in services? What's your favorite part?
It's working with the customers. Seeing a problem and seeing them grow and seeing it go through that process. When when we have customers that really engage with us and really follow the plan that we put out, man, it's a beautiful thing just to see it kind of work through. And being truly part of their team, not just saying we're your technology partner, but really being in there and feet on the ground and actually see their business growing and knowing that technology had a big part on that. That's huge for me.
Okay. Now, is that like something you offer, like VCIO? I mean, do you have it? Do you give it a name, or do you just part of who you guys are?
Yeah, we do the VCIO thing. So we go out there, spend a lot of time with them. So we're truly in that piece of trying to help them understand how to navigate and keep their technology above. We actually, one of the things that's tough is that those who don't follow our plan, we really find a way to not allow them to be our customers anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult, because you're going to end up at a place where, that server died. Well, you're at the 7th year. You know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We told you 2 years ago you need to replace it, and you didn't. So.
Yeah. Yep. And now it's locked up. It's down. It's over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the worst thing about being in services?
You know, I tell my guys and I tell everybody around here, we just went through a round of interviews and tell them, I said, nobody calls us up and says, hey, Corey, it's a great day outside. I want to call you, tell you hi, and I love you, right? If your phone is ringing, there's something to hit the fan on the other side, right?
Yeah.
And that's the pieces, those pieces that come in, but that turns around good when we say, great, we understand what's going on, but then we work through the situation to do it. I tell them all the time, I say, we're not perfect. Something is going to happen, but we're going to be there to the end to make sure we get it right and take it through. I think that's what's really good for the customers to hear and to understand and experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you consider yourself as part of the MSP community, whether it's through peer groups or, online and groups and different groups and those types of things?
We do. Yeah. So we definitely do. And, and even kind of ad hoc, I spent a lot of time with other MSPs from all across between going to we're a member of the ASCII group. So we understand that piece. We're members, spend a lot of time on CompTIA. I actually sit on the Managed Service Executive Council because we want to spend some time. So I'm at ChannelCon or the member forum, those type of things. And I really enjoy that because, right, wrong, and different, we all either at this place, just coming out of this place, or about to go in that place.
Yeah.
And so it's good about sharing that information. I don't believe there's such thing as competition. It's let's figure out how to help each other to make it better. Because what we're also finding, what I see a lot is because people who don't play in that realm and trying to handle it all, they give MSPs kind of a bad name. When something fails, then it is very difficult for that customer to ever trust or want an outsourced piece. So try to make sure that nobody drops the ball. And so if I can help you partner and help you with that, or just provide some advice, that's a win for all of us.
Yeah, and and I think too, like you said, the ones who just try to go it alone and those types of things, when they run into an issue, they don't have anyone to turn to, right? Because they're like, I don't need you, and guess what? Now they're all alone. Versus working with others and sharing information. Now all of a sudden, you've got an issue come up, you've got places to go to ask people for help, and they're happy to help because you've helped them sometimes. So it's a give and take.
Yes, it is. And and sometimes you just hit that rut, man, where you're like, I just need to bounce this off of somebody.
Yep.
And that's what's really cool, man, because it's like it's something so easy, but you didn't overthink it because you're so close to it.
Yeah.
And it gets you in trouble, man. So it's great when I pick up the phone and be like, look, guys, I know this might be stupid, but I got to ask you this question. It's like, oh yeah, I hit that like 6 months ago. Here's how you do it. I'd be like, oh my gosh, that works.
Yeah. Did you try rebooting?
Yeah. Definitely.
So switching gears a little bit and thinking about technology, and it's if it's technology that you use in your business or consumer tech that's not related to your business, what technologies are you most excited about? Either that's here now or promised to be coming soon.
My wife would tell me I'm all over this IoT thing, man. My whole house is like the same Ring doorbell and the lights coming on and off and Alexa all over the place. I mean, she's like, man, one day we're just going to get trapped in the house and she ain't going to let us out. So I'm really intrigued by IoT for many things, right? First of all is how the whole automation and connectivity comes, right? It's 100% connected. Everything is going to be there. Stove, your cars is already there. My wife's car the other day sent us an email saying it's time to be serviced. I'm like, okay, cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Going down that path. But then it also opens up a whole nother avenue of things for us as far as security and some other stuff, right? So, it's kind of like, hey, get this cool, sexy product out there, but the piece on the security side is really not there yet. So it's also intriguing for us, right? And as our customers adopt these, they don't think of them as IT issues, right? Because it's a light bulb. Hey, that's maintenance, right? Why do I got to tell the IT guy? Those type of things. LEDs and thermostats. It's like, hey, that's operations. That's not IT. So really, and I saw this transformation when I was at Cisco. Is when you had the telephony, the voice over IP guys and the IP guys coming together.
Yeah.
The first time they hated each other, right? Nobody was over there. You had your closet and you had your closet. And now we can see that same thing from management, operations, building maintenance, and IT coming together. And it's the same deal. Hey, you don't touch my lights, I don't touch your network, right? But now it's like, your lights is on my network. We got to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, figure out how to work together. You talk about home automation. That's I'm actually in the process of building a house. And
Okay.
so I'm going in the next couple of days to meet with the folks that do Control 4, which is one of the home
Okay.
automation systems.
Yep.
And so I've been doing a little bit of research on it, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, because it seems like once you get it in there, then to make any changes, it's not necessarily an open system. You gotta, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to go down this path or not. So I'm gonna go meet with them, see what they have to say, because it could be cool to have, that single point of control, for everything,
Yeah.
and have a truly smart home. But we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. I like to play too much, so you can't. If you close it down, it's not for me, right?
I know, and that's
That
what I'm
makes.
thinking too. It's so.
Yeah.
Well, if
Yeah.
I can't program it myself or do things and I have to call a tech to do it, then it's not going to be for me. So,
100%. Hey, if the TV don't work for a couple of weeks, because I'm messing with something, hey, it didn't work well for me. That's the fun part, right? Yeah.
yep. So, thinking about IoT and what you're excited about there, is that also what worries you most, or are there other things that worry you in the technology space?
I think what all MSPs are worried about most right now is the whole cybersecurity and just being protected from that perspective, not only from
Mm-hmm.
the customer's perspective, but also ourselves.
Yeah.
And then that IoT drives right into that because, you got this nice secure network, firewalls, everything in place. And then I drop this Alexa in the minute and boom, there's a hole right in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those type of things. So those kind of things keep us up at night, keeps me up at night to wonder,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, are we doing the right thing? Do we make sure we close up the holes? We got the security posture and where it needs to get done? And are we actively being in front of our customers to
Mm-hmm.
drive those things of what's important, right? Not sitting back waiting for something to happen, but being
Yeah.
really into it and proactive about it.
So do you do like training and that type of stuff for
We
your
do.
customers to make sure that they go through that and understand, what phishing
We
is?
do.
And yeah,
Yeah,
it's important.
we do. Gotta have it, man. Gotta have it. You'd be surprised, man. Little Mary at the front desk, she was never trained on what the computer does. She just knows to get on, turn it on, and start typing.
Yeah.
Email comes in from the boss that says, hey, go buy me 40 iTunes gift cards and email them to me. Okay, done. Right?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. And then
So,
it's too late at that point.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we're coming up towards the end here, and it's time for our rapid fire round.
Okay.
This is easy. It's
All
six
right.
six questions. It's meant to be
Okay.
fun. Just, the first answer that comes into your head. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Okay. Mac, Linux, or Windows?
Mac.
Amazon, Azure, or something else?
Amazon.
Okay. Local backups, cloud, or both?
Both.
Okay. Should you always virtualize? Yes or no?
Depends on the application.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
And then finally, even though you haven't done break fix, which is worse, printer support or vendor cold calls?
Vendor cold calls by far.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I always think somebody's going to go, with printer support, and then you surprise me with vendor cold calls. You used to be a vendor, right?
I know, man. It's tough, man. There's so much, man. So you get into information overload because there's so much going on. It's like, oh my gosh, these cold calls are not gonna be good. And sometimes you'll hit a diamond in the rough, man, and that's worth the time. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, definitely. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of our time here. Before we go, what other words of advice or wisdom do you want to impart here for our audience before we go?
Yeah, I would say, build a team, especially being a CEO of the company and things from that perspective. We have not a lot of people to be accountable to because we're sitting at the top. Mm-hmm. I would say also build your team of accountability partners, your mentors, so that you have somebody to be accountable to as well. I think that's huge for that perspective. They're there to help. They have been invaluable for me because they allow me to go back to talk about HR, talk about tools, talk about things that are just kind of outside of the MSP because it's not just the technical side, right?
Yeah.
It's managing people, managing relationships, and doing those things. Find out where your strengths are and things where you need to pull back, and then really go down that path. So I would say definitely get into a peer group get around a group of like-minded people
Mm-hmm.
and really share and have them help you become accountable.
Great. Corey, it's been great having you as a guest. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you out there one of these days. We may have met at ASCII in Dallas a couple of weeks ago.
We
I think we did.
We
Yes.
did. I was there. Yeah.
Yep. So,
yeah.
It's been great having you on.
Same, Doug. You take care, man.
All right. You have a great day.
All right.